Dwayne is a veteran actor of how many years?
About 10.
10 years. Oh my gosh. And I am a new actor. So I wanted to just ask you some questions and gather some of your insights that you've, gained in the past 10 years of acting in New York City. In New York City.
I can't always say acting chose me. I didn't choose it
Yeah.
from a young age, so
Right.
it developed from that point, but then never really pursued it until my wife finished college.
Okay.
And then she said, "Go for your dreams," and it just turns out that it was a good decision.
Oh, good for you.
With this business, you can't really have a hand on an outcome. You just have to try to understand the process, which is what I needed to know how to act before I even started submitting.
Right. And even seasoned actors have to constantly work on their craft, right? It's like a craft that keeps evolving, and you never know what the next role is going to be. So really, like, those skills, it's like, if you want to bodybuild, you can't just bodybuild one time. You have to keep bodybuilding until you die, basically, right? Until you want to get mushy. So, an old and mushy, whatever. Yeah. When do you think that you make some headway into your goals, like year 7, year 4, or like, when I finally got a manager? What are some of the things that you felt like, oh, I'm really making some strides?
Sure. At the point where I felt a little bit comfortable was when I started doing more scenes in class, and I felt more relaxed. Felt kind of comfortable with how I was, performing, because we would record our scenes. And then I said, okay, let me start submitting myself. I didn't have an agent yet. I started to submit to like colleges for student films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and try to get a good grip on what it's like to be on a set, and what the whole process is. Because I was also very interested in learning how the whole process works, the whole filmmaking process. But that was really my entry point of feeling comfortable starting from that point, and then working from there up.
I see. So for that kind of stuff, I started doing background work to see, like, okay, who's what does it look like to be in front of a camera? So I did that just for fun. And then I also was like, wow, this is really informative. So I started paying attention to really what goes on, whose role is what are they called, all the lingo. And then after that is when I started to think about, like, okay, do I really want to do more? And then I started getting on Backstage, Actors Access, and casting networks. And, it's a constant submission process, right? Was that for you the same 10 years ago, or like 5 years ago even, before COVID?
Yes.
Everyone was doing everything online?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't have an agent, Backstage has been around forever. That's where I primarily submitted most of my stuff.
Okay, online. Okay.
At the time as well, I didn't really have my headshots yet, which was a big factor as well that I had to get done. But yeah, I think that time also they were doing a lot of in-person auditions.
Right.
So that was kind of, had to get used to that as well.
Right. That's good. Isn't that like really good practice though? Like being in in-person auditions?
It is. But it's also terrifying to a certain degree, because you don't know who's going to be in the room.
True.
You got the director, sometimes the producer, sometimes it's just the casting director.
But like the fact that you're even getting the audition in the first place, you should already be like, this is really exciting, right?
Yes,
I'm excited
absolutely.
to be in front of people doing what I do, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons that you feel like you've learned throughout the 10 years that you're like, oh, okay, I got to pivot. That's a good lesson for me.
Yeah. Well, when you're going through the process of learning how to act, right? One of the things I learned is to really understand who I am.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. The essence.
Right.
The essence, right?
Who you are, because in order to play a character or play someone else, you have to know who you are and how you may relate to them, how you don't relate to them. Because I think, unfortunately, a lot of actors get it kind of twisted. You're like you're giving yourself over to the craft. You're lending yourself to the craft. It's not about you. You're helping to create something. And in order to do that correctly, you have to understand who you are and where you fit inside the puzzle of whatever is being made.
Because I feel like a lot of what I do, I feel like my true self does come out because it's kind of like uncontrollable, right?
Right.
There's certain ways that I make my expressions. There's certain ways that I say certain words, and a lot of that kind of bursts through.
Yeah.
And from what I'm doing research on it, it's apparently a good thing to have like a truth to what you're doing, not like trying to be someone else, but really be yourself, but with that character and with the limits that that script or that role or that scene is putting on you. And if this were your life in this situation, like how would it play out? And that's kind of how I feel like I do most of my acting.
I agree with that. That is such a key component. That's why I mentioned, learn about who you are, because in an audition, the directors or the casting director is not looking for, oh, how is Dwayne playing this character like Denzel Washington? He or she wants to see Dwayne in that situation to some degree, and based on whatever the circumstances are. And absolutely, that is correct. You're lending yourself to it, and sometimes, you might come out of it, and it happens so organically. And that's the best part. Like you become the role becomes you. Which one is it? Yeah. I know what you mean. So for instance, like for somebody who is starting on an acting craft later in life, right, you weren't young when you like devoted to this, right? No. How do you feel? Just tell me about what that's like to start as a full adult. It's actually great because you have kind of gone through life a little bit, right? You've experienced life in with different situations, and how that informs, the characters or whatever. I feel more experienced, as time goes on, because I can sometimes relate to situations.
There are pros and cons, right? What comes with age is confidence, right? We know ourselves better.
Exactly.
We do have life experience that just, you can't force it. You can't, it only comes with age, right? There's certain things that come with age, living through those periods of your life, having lived through those moments, all of the situations, the relationships. It really does add such a depth.
Yes.
Of understanding, and acting really is just showing what people are like, right?
Exactly.
It's just being a person in a situation, and to the best of your ability, like making it relatable to the point where people are like, I get that, right?
I was told once by a casting director who was actually a friend, say, don't be fooled. We're looking for people your age because of that. It's the experience of life, and the generation that you're in relates to that. So it's, some people may feel like they're not confident enough. Oh, I feel old and think I'll do this. I don't want to do this because they're not going to pick me, which is completely the opposite. And if people would bring more authenticity to the role of themselves to a degree, I think it will, be productive for them.
Right. Oh, Dwayne, you're so right. So much wisdom. And really, like, I think the journey of acting, I just have been reading such great things about actors who've done the process. And they're like, it took me like 7 years to get that role, and along the way, like what it's like in the industry. And I'm like, wow, this is stuff that I wouldn't know if I didn't read about this person's life, because I don't have 7 years in the industry, right? Struggling and trying and getting in the rooms and like meeting casting directors. And it's such good preparation for when that time comes for me. Absolutely. Knowing mentally what I'm getting into, how to prepare, and really just continue to believe in my craft in the way that I do it. Because there's nobody else in the world like me, right? Like the casting director sees that, right?
Oh yeah.
How much do you believe in, like, because I've never been a casting director, and I keep listening to things from casting directors' perspectives, and I'm like, what would it be like? Like, how can they see the vision so clearly? How do they know in 2 seconds?
Yeah, it's crazy. They do. I think they are able to really tell within seconds if an actor can really act or what they can bring to the role. Yeah.
Ah, so interesting.
Yeah.
And that comes with experience, right?
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
all experience
Yeah.
and just intuition. I feel like a
Intuition.
lot of this is intuition.
Yeah.
What else do you think are some elements that we don't commonly consider when we're doing these things?
In terms of just like the process of acting, or just
Anything. Like, I've been reading a lot about like energy, right? Like, I'm rethinking what kind of energy am I transmitting when I walk,
yeah,
right? What kind of energy am I giving when I'm in Penn Station and I'm walking to the train?
yeah,
And I've been really meditating on like what kind of presence I want to put out there, even when there's nobody I know, right, around, even when I'm not auditioning. Like, every moment is an audition in your life, right? So it's like it's acting. You're acting constantly.
You're on the
I'm
right
acting
path.
right now.
You're
I'm
on the
acting
right-
like a podcaster and an interviewer. I've never done this before, but look how good I am,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's believing, and I'm like, I know I can do that. Let's try.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
Yeah. So I walk through Penn Station, and I'm like, what do I want to exude today? And I focus on it,
Yeah.
and I really believe that that's the energy I'm giving off.
Exactly.
You know, and I see what people are when they're looking at me, and I'm like, maybe it's working. You know.
Yeah.
And right, the energy that you bring into a room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you still have to follow it up with skill, right?
Of course, it's sure. I mean,
Just
you know,
have
the
energy.
talent won't just get you there,
Right.
but if you have the skill set and the tools, I over the years I've tried to have a toolbox of different things, because you can't do a role and then bring that same thing over to another role. Most likely it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know how to go into that toolbox as an actor and say, hey, this might be a more technical scene or technical role,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to, you know, learn how to merge that with whatever the circumstances are. Yeah, it's such acting is such a beautiful thing. You can't really explain it, but you just it just happens, you know, and
Yeah.
you don't try to figure it out. You just do the work and try to, when it comes to you, it comes to you.
Right. And what comes out, it's so interesting when it's not so planned, right?
Right. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the
Improv.
best.
That's why I love improv, and I think we're improving all day long, aren't we?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's really a skill that I think you can learn, which is why I'm going to start taking improv classes this year.
Right.
2026, another improv year for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, every element of your life, I think it could be used.
Absolutely.
Yeah, quick thinking, you know, just taking the positive, always saying yes, you know, like all of those things, I think. Oh, can you tell us about how you met your manager?
The current one right now is I met through learning about her and who she represents, and so I basically got her email and fired off.
Oh.
Says, hey, look, you know, I'm in the market for new representation, and sent her my headshots, my reel, and my website, and she checked it out, and she was like, immediately emailed me. We had a meeting, and you know, most of these meetings typically last 10-15 minutes. And
they just know, right?
They know, you know, and sometimes you just yeah, and sometimes you it just, okay, let's see if it works, right?
Okay.
But with her and I,
yeah,
we practically were meeting. We met for about almost 45 minutes to an hour.
That's a good date.
Oh, yeah.
You know when that happens?
Yeah,
So
there was chemistry, and she understood the direction I wanted to go.
Okay. What did you say? Do you remember, like, what direction you wanted to go?
Well, she knew. So basically, one of the first things she said to me, which resonated, was she knew exactly the roles I wanted to go for without me even saying it. She said, "I see you on maybe Yellowstone or you know, doctor roles or cop roles or whatever," which was
so
really.
she saw your essence when
exactly.
you walked, the way you walked, your energy,
yes.
the way you're speaking, the way you look. She's like, okay, right now you're gonna play a doctor. So she knew because she's a good manager. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even really have to tell her too much of what I wanted to do.
And would that fit with what you wanted?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's why the chemistry was there.
Yeah.
She saw what you wanted.
Yeah.
You see in yourself. Okay.
Exactly.
So that's how you know. Okay, manager. Meeting a good one is they see you for what you want.
Are. Yeah.
For what you are and what you want. Okay.
It's also important for you to know, where you fit. Right. But typecasting is a good thing for you. Yeah. Right. Because that's your foot in the door.
No, that's your butter.
Right. I know some actors, I don't want to do that because I don't see myself as that. I see myself as a superhero. I see myself as this. And you,
hey, turn around.
Yeah.
Go look in the mirror. Talk to yourself for a year more, and really figure out what you are.
Yeah.
Because that's not the vibe you're giving. That kind of thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that matters. That matters. You need to understand where you fit in the picture, and what you could go for.
And like how casting directors are going to immediately see you as well, right?
Right, exactly. Those headshots are super important. You gotta create something in those shots. They need to see what's behind those eyes or what's in those eyes. When you look at these headshots, they're looking for that, and that's what latches them. Let me give them a shot because I see something in those headshots. Because reality is most casting directors and most directors, even though they give you the breakdowns, they don't know what they want, right?
They're on a search.
Yeah, they have no idea. They're assuming this is what I'm looking for when they give you the thing, and 90% of everybody's going to play it the same way, right? But they're looking for something very specific. I articulate it to like a melody, right? Like for example, Denzel can do a scene, right? And I'll keep referencing Denzel.
I love Denzel. Who doesn't love Denzel?
Yeah, it's just the name that comes to mind. He can play a scene, and okay, he's done it that way. Now, that's like I consider this script like a melody. He's playing that scene like in his melody. Now you give it to Dwayne. Now let's hear you play the same melody and see how it sounds. You understand? So it's not. So it's how I present the role. I'm not gonna play it like Denzel. I need to play it separately or bring it down a notch.
Right.
I verbalize the scene and things like that.
Well, because you're not Denzel.
No.
You're Dwayne.
That's right. That's why it's important to understand who you are.
I see.
Yeah.
And leaning into your uniqueness, leaning into.
Don't be afraid of that.
Right, and we have to believe that casting directors are going to see what we see in ourselves, right? Because why would we even have started this journey if we didn't have a story to tell, or if we didn't say, listen, everybody's unique, but I just want to say that I'm ready to showcase my uniqueness and my personality.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm committing my time, my money, my energy, my mental, everything about it, because I love this craft so much. Right. Because this is the art that's chosen me, right?
Exactly. You said something interesting earlier where you said, it feels like you're acting every time, every day. And that is so important. You have no idea, because most actors think, okay, I'm in class. It begins there and it stops there, and I go home. Next week is class. Next 2 days I gotta go, and that's where it goes. Yeah, you're training, but you kind of have to use those skills in the real world to some degree.
Absolutely.
And so you need to, you're constantly on record. Your mind is constantly recording and understanding conversation, because you don't know if a role is written for you that is interacting with somebody you actually know in real life. And you say, oh, you know what? That's like that person. I can work my way, depending on the script, work my way around it. And I think that's important to understand, that you're acting every day.
Right, absolutely.
Every single day.
You are code shifting and switching and putting on different faces and different melodies for the situation, Because when I go home, I'm a different person.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm acting or not acting. It's just different parts of me that are coming out, right? It's a facets of a diamond. Which facet is going to hit the light in that moment, right? And I'm just making all this as I go along.
No, that's a beautiful analogy.
Right, but it's really, but the diamond is whole.
Yeah.
It's not, one facet's not fake.
Correct.
It's all of the, parts of the diamond, which is why acting is so interesting, because you may be typecast initially.
Yeah.
But when you break out of that typecasting, because you've kind of created like some oomph, right?
Yeah.
And you've got some credits under your belt, and you can say like, listen, you believe in my skill. Right. Can you believe in my skill in this facet?
Right.
I've been doing comedy. but I really can lean into like Jim Carrey. He can do everything,
Right.
right? And Robin Williams, all of it at the same time,
At the same
right?
time.
In the same movie.
That's right.
And that's what people are. A person is not just comedy all the time,
Right.
you know, like we're sad, we're funny, we're hungry,
Mm-hmm.
we're, you know, sleepy, we're so many different kinds. And acting is just showcasing that particular humanistic part of being a human, right?
Exactly.
And I think it's just like kind of like grasping at it in the moment, right?
Right,
And
right.
really bringing the light on that part.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so great about acting is that, like, yeah, you may initially come in, yeah, you're a doctor, yeah, but who's to say that you can't be a mafia
That's right.
killing person,
Right,
right?
right.
Like whatever
You
they
know.
call those, you know?
Yeah.
You can, because
can.
we're evolving all the time too, right?
Exactly.
And we can learn. Like, for instance, I'm not a doctor, but I would love to play a doctor on TV. I have to learn all of the lingo that a doctor would use, and it has to come out naturally, right?
That's
Because
correct.
I look like a doctor doesn't mean that I can speak like one, think like
Exactly.
one, and move like one,
And
right?
that's where the work happens.
But isn't that fun?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
the funnest part is that you
Right.
get to reinvent yourself. Like, in my many timelines of being me,
Mhm.
yeah, I could have been a doctor,
Mhm.
but I wasn't. I have one life, right?
Right.
I chose one career path. But in the world of acting, right, it's limitless possibility
Mhm.
and limitless, the dimensions, right?
Yes.
Oh, in this show, I'm a doctor. That's the dimension I could have had in my life, right?
Mhm.
Oh, in this one, I'm a teacher. Oh my gosh, that's the dimension that I could have lived. There's
Yeah.
limitless dimensions.
Yeah.
And as an actor, you're living them all at the same time,
Exactly.
which I think is like the coolest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
And it's fun and it's creative and it's like, you wake up, like even when I was doing background work,
Mhm.
I'd wake up at 5 a.m. no problem. I'm so excited to do it, right?
To do it right.
Like,
Yeah, because you're
that's how
gonna.
you know.
Yeah, you're gonna do something that you love. You chose to do.
I wasn't even acting. I was just in the background, you know? But like the excitement of knowing it's part of this journey of just being on a set or
Yeah.
like seeing cameras or seeing
Yeah.
actors act.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is so juicy and it's
Yeah.
like it's invigorating, right? And that's how you know that you're doing what you were made to do.
Correct.
Everyone's created to do something in a particular way,
Right.
right? It's
Mhm.
not work when it is work because you really have to be diligent.
Right.
But that's how you know. It's like your cells,
Yeah.
they're gyrating
Gyrating,
and they're
right.
making
Right.
because you're in the space and in the place where you're supposed to be because you are made for that, you
That's
know?
right.
Is that how you
Yeah.
feel?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
I am acknowledgement.
I'm sorry. Throughout the years, kind of ran away from acting.
Mhm.
I knew it was something I needed to do,
Mm.
but I just didn't understand
Mhm.
why.
Mhm.
You know, it was just this thing that just kept gnawing at me. I was like, put it like this: in high school, right? I was this weird kid that, look, you know, I didn't go to classes all the time. Once in a blue moon, I'll cut school.
Shh, don't tell your mom. Yeah.
I'll cut school, right? But you would think I'd go to the mall, I'd go hang out with my friends. No, I cut school and I'd go home at like 10 o'clock and I'd go watch TV. And you know what I'd watch? Inside the Actors Studio. I don't know if you know, we're familiar with that show. With James Lipton, the old.
Yeah, and the interview actor. Yeah.
I would literally watch that all the time.
That was your study then.
Yeah.
That was your course of study that you wanted to do.
So I knew something was there. I just
see.
didn't understand why, and that's how it really all started to really come to me. Like maybe I really should try this.
It's like intrinsic.
Yes.
The want and
Yes.
the desire was too
Yes.
strong.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I see.
I would go to sleep with it on my mind. I would wake up with it on my mind all day long. It was the most bizarre thing. There was one point where I actually gathered the guts, and this is my early 20s. I gathered the guts enough to go down to Manhattan for an audition.
Yeah.
Got in front of the door and walked away because I chickened out.
Oh.
But then I was like, I don't know why. But then I decided to just do it. And
Years later.
yeah,
Yeah.
late years later, being an actor is a responsibility. I think because at the beginning, you know, we're the first influencers, right?
Yes.
We are the first influencer.
Absolutely. Celebrity
Yeah.
comes from
Because
actors.
if realistically, like, you didn't know you wanted to be a doctor until you watched Doogie Howser.
Mm-hmm.
you
True.
know? in a different world. You didn't know you wanted to go to college until you saw a different world and you saw those kids going to college.
Sure, I don't know what that is, but I'm sure. I'm sure you're right. Yeah.
With Cliff Huxtable and Cosby and their kids. Anyway,
Yeah.
but like those things, like
Yeah.
it inspired you to want. We inspire people.
Absolutely. Family Matters taught me, honestly, it taught me American family culture. Because I was not an American, right?
Okay.
So where do you think I picked up all these things about what to expect when you open the door, or like how to put the fork down? Family Matters, Step by Step. Yeah, all of those shows. I was like intrigued by watching American families because my family was not American.
Right.
Yeah, and I was always struggling with how can I be more American to be acceptable, because I went to a Catholic school and I was one of 2 Asian people in my class, you know. And like what you were just saying was that like you were hit by the bug before you were even on the stage, and you knew your soul was calling out, gravitate towards this, watch it, don't stop thinking about it, you know. Same thing. You know, we used to have Scholastic book fairs.
Yes.
So I'd open the book and there was this one book and I remember circling it. It was called Be a Star. And I'm like, what is this about? I got the book finally and I was like shaking. I went home and I read it over and over and over, and I still remember the things that I read in that book.
Right.
And it's like my heart would sing, right? It was calling out to it, and the book was calling out to me. And that author wrote that book for people like me. Yeah. And I was like, what, 2nd grade?
That's crazy.
Did I have the time, the means, or the understanding of actually pursuing a career? Absolutely not.
Right.
No. I was raised by, you know, immigrants who were constantly working. I had no extracurricular activity.
Right.
Listen, Dwayne, if I had a stage mom, okay, I would be a totally different person right now. If I had a person, if they put me in ice skating, I'd be an Olympic ice skater, all right? I'd be an Olympic gymnast. Look at my body proportions. That's what I believe, but I just was not for me, because that's what the family I was born into at that time, right? Yeah. Had I been born now, forget it. I could pursue anything I wanted, right? My dreams are like
everywhere,
you know, like those are my kids' generation is what do you want to do? Yeah. Mine was I want to do so much. Sorry. Yeah. You better keep those to yourself because ain't nobody supporting that. Yeah. I don't know if that was your experience, but that was my immigrant experience.
Right. No, I not necessarily. I think my mom just wanted me to finish school.
Okay. Which you did.
Do something. But those, I understand that culture and understand what you're saying. You know, it's this and this, not that. Yeah. So you got to follow this.
Yeah. But, well, not that, because we're surviving. Yeah. I don't have the money and the time for that. I don't even know what that is.
Right.
Do you think my parents' generation knew what acting or dancing or entertainment was? Yeah. It wasn't as, I think, evolved as it is now.
Correct.
It's absolutely developed, right? Forget about it. That wasn't even, so that stayed within me until I got to high school. Amazing. And I finally hit that stage, and it was like this, right? I'm like, the reason why I love Into the Woods is so much is because that was my first role. Oh, awesome. And I think it was a spectacular first role, and it's also a spectacular musical. Like Stephen Sondheim, like his writing is like, it's poetry, you know, the things that he conveys in like 3 words. I'm like, I was like weeping. I just saw it recently performed again, and I remembered every word, you know?
That's the thing.
And that's the thing. Yeah, you get on that stage and you know you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're good. Right? How do you not pursue? Well, let me tell you how I not pursued. It was the 90s, it was the 2000s. There were not many Asian Americans, you know, like I was explaining before. And I was like, I don't think I have it in me to struggle for 20 years, you know?
Right.
So I'll pursue what my other talents are, which is education, you know, other things. It wasn't just that for me, you know, at the time.
Right.
And so after I've pursued that now and I have a midlife crisis going on, I'm like, what is my first love? What is the one that got away? What is the one that I truly, truly did not pursue because it was not the right time for me?
Right.
Now is the right time. I don't know where this rebirth came about, but it's like I resurrected. Yeah. I did die for like 5 years because I was stuck in New Jersey as a stay-at-home mom. Just letting you know. Yeah. And then I like remerged. I'm like, I'm back in New York City. Let's go. You know. So I've been reconnecting with people who are, you know, have made strides as influencers, as, you know, so like they're doing so much, and it's like amazing and inspiring. Just being with them, I'm like, I always tell my friend Charlotte, I'm like, I can't believe, Charlotte, what you've done. I can't believe what you've done in 15 years. You have created your own skincare brand.
That's right.
You're a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, what is that like?
That's right.
How, every time I see her,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just so proud of you, because I know them personally.
Yeah.
But other people, I don't know how to be proud of them because I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
you
their
don't know.
bottom up,
Right,
like,
right.
yeah. But even when you told me that you landed this lead role and it's coming out, I'm like,
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I barely know you, Dwayne, but I'm so happy for you
Thank
because I know how much work that takes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's crazy. It was, the industry is so up and down. It's and I've had some good hits, and there was periods where I wouldn't book anything at all, and then there's moments when I wanted to quit. I've quit and woken up the next day. Okay, I'm back. But this
It's like a drug. You can't. You can't.
I think the big fear also for me is whatever talent I've had or I've been gifted. I don't want to waste it, and it is a privilege,
absolutely,
and an honor to do it.
Absolutely agree.
And I don't want to be 90 years old saying, if I coulda, I woulda, I shoulda. I'm so fearful of that.
That's it.
But yeah, this role came along at the right time because I was in my. I'm not gonna do this anymore. And it came along like the next week. I said I'm gonna just quit next, and it came along the next week. It was an audition for a role that I had submitted for, and casting director was like, "Oh, I know you submitted for this, but we want you to read for this other role." So I was like, "Okay, sure." I didn't even know what that role really, how detailed the role was. So the film is by some directors named the Canaan brothers. There's like eight of them, and they're they started their own film company, and they did this. They were working on this project, so I got to audition for it. They loved it. I auditioned for the role like 3 times.
Okay.
Because they just needed to make sure. And yeah, then I found out it was basically kind of one of the leads. It's like a 3-part story of maybe three individuals, I think, and I was one of them. So I can't get any more detailed, but
well, I'm gonna look up those Canaan brothers later.
Yeah, and they booked me, and I flew out there, and that was really my first feature film. I've had a couple of short films on HBO and been in other shows, but this one was the big one. And so it's cooking in post-production right now, and hopefully we'll hear something soon. But it was an amazing journey. There's a major actor in it that I was able to work with.
How did it feel like waking every day on that set? Like, or you don't wake up on the set, but waking up and knowing you're going to a set. Like, was it like I'm living my dream? Were you on cloud 9? Tell us.
It was bizarre. When I was landing, because they flew me out, and I was like, at first, you freak out because you're like, oh my God, this is happening. Yeah. This is like, I'm really doing this.
Yeah.
And yeah, going on set, but I mean, I've been on sets, but this was just on another level, right? Another scale bigger. And it was crazy. It was like, yeah, I'm actually doing this, and waking up every day. And it was a great opportunity to know that this is what I really wanted to do, because my career is probably going to end up like this for the rest of my life, where I have to travel and be on set for months on end, because it was also a challenge for my family because I'm away from my wife, my kids. It was such a great experience, and that's when I knew I had to. This is it.
And you were like, thank God I didn't quit.
Yeah.
That week.
Oh my
Why do I hear so many actors say that story? I'm gonna quit, and then like a week later is when they land that breakthrough.
Yeah.
That role. Like, what is that?
It's the weirdest thing. I've heard other actors say the same thing. Even famous actors say, like, you're one role away from that one role.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like this, it's the craziest thing, and it's because of the speed of the industry. It goes into different genres Whatever's happening in the world, sometimes that's what they stick to.
I see.
And you don't. One thing I always tell other actors that are coming up: don't bend yourself to what is necessarily hot because it might not be for you.
Right. Right.
You know, and you end up throwing
Tailor
yourself
to
in there.
trends, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. To jump into the trend.
Yeah.
And you don't get picked.
Yeah.
Now you feel like you've wasted your time.
But what if that trend is like screaming your name? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is right on brand with me. Like,
then you go.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
This is me. You know, like.
Then you definitely, try to pursue it. I definitely think you should, but don't do things for the sake of, because it's a brutal business. Let's face it. It can be a brutal business in terms of, our job is constantly, once you finish one, you got to find another one. And that's
unless you're on a long TV show, which is that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
10 seasons TV show, 20 seasons.
Yeah, like, I think that's what happens to people. They're like, I'm not making any headway. And one of the things also, very important, run your race, stay in your lane. Don't look left, don't look right. Don't look at other people's success, because that's when you become distracted. You start to say, oh, wow, maybe I should do what they're doing. Your journeys are completely different.
Right.
And keep your head straight and down and go forward.
Unless you get inspired by somebody and then you're like, I would love to do that. And you your lane changes, right?
Yeah,
because,
you could do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I was reading Mel Robbins' Let Them Theory book. And have you read it?
I haven't read it, but I know who.
Yeah.
She's a great.
She says a lot of really great things. And I was so inspired reading her book, but I was also, she's like, when you feel jealous, it's telling you something. It's that's something that you want, and something that you're like, I could have done that, but I didn't. So then use that as a motivation to be like, let me pick myself up and let me do and put in the work and be diligent and do that as well.
Yeah.
Because I know that's for me.
Yeah.
And I've been using that as like a motivator as well when I see, so for instance, the Asian American actresses my age who have made such strides in the industry. I'm so proud of the representation. I'm proud of their work. I'm proud to see people who look like me, like really having roles.
Shining,
having a place and a platform to storytell.
Absolutely.
I think it's really coming out, and but it is a tinge of jealousy, like, could that have been me if I had really stuck with it?
Right.
Could I have done that if I struggled for 20 years? You know, and I have to kind of warp that thinking into, now is my time.
Yes.
Yeah. And thank you, so-and-so, for building that bridge for me.
Yes.
I love you.
Yes.
I'm going to keep following you. And here I come.
Yeah.
I'm joining you now.
Yeah.
So, like, you started the race at 0.
Yeah.
I'm coming into the race at 13 miles.
Yeah.
But will you open your arms for me? Because I'm going to run hard with you. I'm going to motivate you as much as you motivate me, you know?
That's beautiful.
So,
yeah.
I just came up with that, Dwayne. I just came up with it. I'm improvising. Yeah, but like really, I'm visualizing that race because like a marathon, half marathon, you have to start in the beginning, yes. But the people who come in to support you when you're really feeling like I'm so tired, they run with you for like a mile or two, whatever, right? So, and running by myself versus running in a group, it was such a different experience. I'm like, oh, this is why people have like crowd mentality, angry pitchfork mob. I'm like, oh, I'm in an angry mob, but we're running towards something right now. It is like such a weird psychological thing for human beings. But we definitely influence each other very strongly, and just making everything not about you, but really like tailoring it to like, okay, how can I become a better version of me? Like, competing with yourself, not competing with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're all in it together. Exactly. We can help each other.
Yeah.
So what if they got the role and I didn't?
Yeah.
That wasn't the role for me.
You.
Yeah, and I got a even better role for me coming. I just have to keep going.
Auditions are wins. And a lot of people don't
understand.
That's
what I was saying. When you said you got the audition, I was like, first of all, you got an audition. Good for you.
Auditions are wins.
Auditions are wins.
You might not get that role, but trust and believe, if you do a good job, they remember you.
That's what I've been reading. Casting directors are like, this one's not for you, but I'm going to remember that. Yeah.
I get auditions from people I know my manager didn't submit to, and she's like, hey, somebody just sent you an audition because they've seen your work in this thing.
Yeah.
And they pass your name around and they check you out. Some of them, they keep sending you to audition for the same
Right.
show. I've gotten, I won't say what show it is, but at least 7 or 8 auditions
Wow.
year on end. They're trying to find the perfect
Right.
role for you.
Right.
So, but they're wins because remember, you're going against at least 1,000 submissions.
Right.
That role for that movie, I don't remember how many. I think it was almost 2,000.
Oh, that was the one for you.
Yeah.
That when you started watching Actors Access, the universe was like, just you wait, keep watching.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't mean to point,
No,
but I got excited.
No, hey, look,
Yeah.
You know, just so I just keep you're getting auditions. That's a good thing.
Well, I mean, I haven't made any headway into theatrical space,
Right.
but I did actually. Okay, so the practical part of this, so there's a word in Korean. It's called sunbae and hube. Sunbae is like, so for instance, I went to UCLA, right? So a senior would be my sunbae because I'm a freshman, and I'm their hube, right?
Okay.
But even in like professional life, you're my sunbae because you've been in the game for 10 years, right? And I'm in 1 year.
1 year.
So I'm your hube, you're my sunbae. And you know, there's that like kind of like big brother, little brother kind of like vibe to it where I look up to you and I respect you. And on the flip side, what I'm receiving is like your, you know, wisdom, your like corralling, you know, sometimes they buy you coffee, sometimes they take you out for lunch, you know, it's kind of that kind of, you know, I don't know if you watch any K-dramas, but that's the relationship, you know? So like, I'm formally asking you, are you going to be my sunbae, Dwayne? Okay, I love Dwayne. He's my sunbae now. I hope so many actors are just like their fire is reignited or ignited or they're expired or they're like souls are calling back out, you know, after watching this interview because I'm so inspired and I'm so grateful for your time, Dwayne.
It was an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you so much